Hi guys, welcome back to FutureSight. I'm Right Joey.
And I'm Maxon.
First, before we get into the episode, I'd just like to apologise for missing a week.
We've been busy.
Busy, and just finding the time to actually make these calls has just not happened between me and Max. Every time we've gone to do it, either something's not happening on his end or the connection just would not work at all.
Oh, I've been busy.
That too. With that said, let's get the ball rolling. We will be trying to catch up on the episodes we've missed. Well, the episode we've missed, which is oddly enough this episode. We will be getting another one out this week. Just like to say, sorry, we haven't forgotten about you. We not just got to 1,000 views and I said, yay, we can stop. No, we're going to keep going, and we do apologise.
Oh, he does. I'm just in here.
You apologise too, don't you?
I'm so sorry.
Yes.
Anyway.
Right. With that out of the way, let's get on to this week's episode. Well, last week's episode, sorry. We're going to be covering what won the Japanese Battle Carnival. We're talking, of course, about Darkrai Hydreigon.
Sorry, so is that seriously what it's called? A Battle Carnival?
I believe it was Battle Carnival.
That just sounds so awesome.
I know. I don't know if it's actually Battle Carnival or Nationals. I'm getting like
Nationals.
It's either Nationals or Carnival. I've got
the page in front of me,
different
it says
sources.
National Championships.
Well, yeah, but as I said, different sources are giving me different information.
I think Nationals. It's Battle
So,
Carnival.
okay, National Carnival then.
National Battle Carnival.
National Battle!
Oh, go on.
But anyway, I'd just like to say that first things first, this blew me out of the water when I first actually heard this. It's like, Darkrai Hydreigon's like, this thing's running stage 2s. To be honest though, I did originally think the Hydreigon was the other Hydreigon, the one we got in, if I can remember the name.
Was it?
Axel?
The guy wasn't Darkest Blow, was it? It was Emerging Powers? No, was it? Maybe.
Yeah, I believe it was EP, because we just got the
I've actually got on the phone, I could just look. No, it was the Victory one, Victini. Absolute no. What the hell was that? No, Victory. I keep thinking Absolute Victory, because that's off something.
Absolute Victory! No, yeah. So, yeah, I actually thought it was the Hydreigon from Noble Victories originally. I thought it was like a solo dark deck. It turns out it's actually the Hydreigon from Dragon Blast and Dragon Blade. It's actually the Dragon Blade half of the set, I believe. If I scroll up, I should really have these notes down. No, yeah, Dragon Blast half of the deck. Well, half of the set. Now, an interesting thing we noticed, well, you pointed out as soon as you saw the image for it, was the fact that it actually runs 2 different Dino.
Yeah.
It runs the 2 Dark and the 1 Dragon from the half deck that came out alongside Dragon Blast and Dragon Blade.
Yeah, is there any actual difference between the HP of those two, or are they just kind of the same?
Guessing they're kind of the same. I mean, yeah, I can't see the original Dino having less than 60 hit points. Actually, wait, no, it has 50 hit points.
50.
I went against it at Battle Roads, some guy playing a random deck. It was pretty interesting to go against, though. So yeah, it does have 10 hit points more. No, both 60 in the Dragon sets.
Oh, right. Because I was thinking, obviously, apart from the different weaknesses, I was thinking, is there any actual point to running the lower HP one?
It probably is just to actually keep different weaknesses out there. I mean, it is 2 of the Dark and 1 of the Dragon.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a format that has a lot of Garchomp Altaria in it, which we'll be going to be covering soon.
Yes.
So I'll quickly blast over the lines for it, just so we can get an idea what we're looking at. It's actually a 3-1-3 Hydreigon with the 2-1 split on Dino. Then it's got 3 Sableye, 3 Darkrai, 1 Shaman X, and 1 Sigilyph. I'm guessing that the Sigilyph is basically there just to stop the high number of X's there in the format.
I think it's what is it, 50 plus 10 for every energy? Yeah, it's right there, 50 plus 10 for every energy attached to the defending. Because I assume it's just a big Mewtwo counter?
It's a big Mewtwo counter. It also acts as a pretty strong opposition to most X's, because with its ability it can't be touched by them.
Because I was just looking at it now, I was thinking, like, if it's facing Mewtwo, I could see this easily, like, searching for Sigilyph, putting it down, moving the energy to Sigilyph, and just one-shotting Mewtwo out of nowhere.
It depends on the energy on Mewtwo, because it's not both Pokemon, it's just Mewtwo.
Well, it's 50 plus 10.
Yeah, if it's only got 2, that'll be 70 doubled up to 140. It's still a 2-shot, but Mewtwo can't do anything in return.
Yeah.
And also, Rayquaza, Raikou, Eels is a pretty strong deck in Japan at the moment, and well, the Sigilyph can't be touched by any of that deck unless I want to turn around and say, well, I'm going to be doing 50 a turn with Electric, which won't really work with the way this deck works. Just the whole fact that, like, the main mechanic of the deck is just get your main attacker in the active spot, start manually loading energies, or dark patching energies if you've got enough, if you've got dark in the discard pile, and if something looks close to being knocked out, use Hydreigon to shift all the energies away from it, max potion to heal, all the energies back, keep swinging.
I'm just noticing now, is Sigilyph in there also as a safe storage device for the energy, since most of the main attackers are X's? Just put it on Sigilyph and then just leave it there until you need it on your guys?
Could be, but I'm thinking you want to rotate your energy as much as you can.
Yeah, I know. I mean, obviously that's like 3 on Darkrai to keep swimming. I'm thinking, is that where you put your excess energy or something?
Well, unless you're going for a secondary attacker.
Yeah, there's like not a lot of snipers in like the format, or any main attackers are mostly X's nowadays, so it's like...
Well, if anyone's going to try and snipe it, it would be most likely Raikou, which can't touch it. So it would be a good idea to have the energy there. Also, there is the fact that Hydreigon himself has 150 hit points, so he can just sit there and he can tank a hit.
I like how Switch isn't really a problem for this deck.
Not at all.
Sure, it's a problem.
Yeah, the whole switching problem is I say switching problem. It's the whole idea of like switching this deck is just moot. You can put one dark on anything, and away you go. You can free retreat everything. I mean, it also works amazingly with the Sableye. Without Darkrai, Sableye, attach the Dark, use its attack to grab 2 trainers, and then you'd have to discard the Dark energy to retreat normally without Darkrai. Instead of, with this, you can just free retreat Hydreigon to move that energy onto something else. Yeah. So it's more an energy invested than an energy burned.
The other thing is with Hydreigon, you're going to have to actually one-shot it, or it's a moot, and it's entirely null move. Because obviously with Hydreigon, just attach, retreat it, max potion it, and you can just dark patch the energy onto something else.
Mm-hmm. Well, you don't even need to dark patch the energy onto something else.
Well,
you can use Dragon to shift it where it's needed.
Oh, exactly, yeah.
Because it's there's no limit on how much he can move that energy around.
And his attack's not actually that bad. Well, it could be better. It's 140, not one-shots anything that isn't an X, I think.
140, discard 2 dark energy attached to it. So with Dark Patch, it's not an awful attack, but I'd rather use the Dark Patch more as acceleration than as recovery.
Oh, definitely, but I'm just saying there's an option. At least there's a lot of the guys who like move energy around or put energy down usually have a pretty terrible
attack.
Yeah, at least Hydreigon's is somewhat kind of usable. It's not like it's like Ember. You have to discard all the fire, or is it all the fire to him to use his attack?
And the flare.
Yeah, at least Hydreigon only needs like to discard 2 dark.
Also, the fact that one attachment, you can then bring it back and move the attachment onto something else. It's a great deck for actually conserving the amount of energy you use. You don't have to be as conservative with your attachments. You can actually say you've got like 2 Darkrai's on the bench, and your opponent's going to try sniping you. You could, say you're against rare eels. You can attach energy to 1 Darkrai, have them snipe it, and then next turn you move it to the opposite Darkrai. Bring it out. You've got a fresh attacker, and you've just made them basically burn an attack.
I suppose in essence it's actually probably just a bigger, stronger form of the Mismagius Terrakion deck that was floating around.
True. I can see where you're coming from with that, but I still think this is a lot more manageable.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying.
If you look at the energy line for this, it runs total 12 energy, which just shows how much it can manipulate its energy, which is 8 of them are normal dark, and then you've got the 4 blend energy, which is psychic, fire, grass, and dark. I mean, that 1 blend energy means that you can have the Sigilyph and it'll still be able to attack. You can have the Shaman X and it's still able to attack, and it's also still a dark energy, so it can go on anything. And Hydreigon doesn't denote basic energy.
Yeah, it's any energy.
Yeah, so you want to attack with Sigilyph, you can just attach the Sigilyph, use it for an attack. Next turn, bring it back onto free retreat Sigilyph, bring out Shaman X, move it onto Shaman X. It's a grass energy, but it's still movable because it's dark as well.
Being able to apply and switch the targets for your free retreat in this deck is probably the most powerful part of it.
Oh yeah, it is amazingly fun to do.
The one thing that's interesting that I noticed is it's not running the Dark Claw, so it's running the Eviolite.
Oh yeah, I think that's mostly because Eviolite in this deck is a lot more universal.
I think it's survivability as well.
Yeah, true. I mean, if you look at Dark Claw, there's only one real target for it, and that's Darkrai. You're going to put it on Darkrai. That's the only thing that's dark that's going to be attacking.
This Darkrai has a 180, doesn't he?
It has 180, yeah. So with Eviolite, it's virtually 200.
I'm wondering because with Eviolite, it stops it being revenge KO'd with by Terrakion.
True, because Terrakion will hit for 160 instead of 180.
It does 180.
Yeah, it'll do 180, but it would only hit for 160 because of the minus 20. So and then you've got the joy of Max Potion.
Yeah.
Of you potion.
So that's probably the thought behind this, because Terrakion's probably still teched into things.
Oh yeah, it's if Dark's at all big, Terrakion's going to happen. It's either it's still big over there, or they thought, you know what, if I'm going to run Dark, I don't want this guy to happen. So they thought about it. But as I was saying though, it goes on like pretty much anything in this deck. I mean, even if it's only 2. It works on Darkrai, it works on Shaman, works on Sigilyph, and if you get desperate, you can place it on Sableye, so he stands a chance of tanking more than one attack. I mean, he's not even weak to fighting, he's got no weakness at all because of his unique typing in the games.
No, Sableye.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I think Sableye is one of the few cards that constantly gets its weakness in the card game, denoted by its actual presence in the video game.
Spiritomb not have the same thing?
I think Spiritomb does have the same thing as well, but it's like, those two are the only, some of the only guys who really go for it. I mean, so many cards in format that turn around and say, well, I shouldn't have this weakness, but I do, because I've got a secondary type that negates this weakness.
The thing that I've kind of just looked over, the training line, there's a lot of cards that are very, just very dump-worthy cards. You don't have to keep them in your hand for a while. But a lot of the train item cards, there's a lot of cards you just play down. And I think that's a very strong reason for the Bianca and Junipers that I'm seeing here. Also,
the fact that you've got 3 Ultra Ball in there. The 3 Ultra Ball will turn around and say, well, you want to draw with Bianca? If you're playing this, if you're playing the card you Ultra Ball straight away, you're getting -3 on hand. If you Ultra Ball for Hydreigon and then use Candy, you've pretty much got -4 on hand. Pretty much, you're going to be like drawing out. You're going to be drawing an extra 4 cards there. Sorry, my phone went off and distracted me completely.
It'll be an extra 5, surely.
See,
because you're -2.
Ultra Ball is 3 off hand, but you're getting 1 in hand.
Candy's
so
-2. Yeah, then you have
but
to play Bianca.
Candy. Oh yeah. Sorry, I forgot to get the support as -1. Yeah, so it's draw 5 potentially, unless you've found a way to bolster your hand at all, or you've claimed a prize last turn.
There's this thing that's being able to empty your hand, and there's a lot of supporters that have very refill hand. It's very strong. Also, because this deck is very X-centered, you do have the 4N in there, which is, early game it's Pond, late game it's cripple your opponent and hope they don't draw into what they need. Well, I think with this deck, a lot of the resources are on field, so really N doesn't affect your board as much as many other decks.
True. It's a lot like the old Tyram argument. Like, once you're set up, you don't need your hand anymore. Everything's coming from discard. Your hand is for maintenance.
Yes.
One thing that really draws my attention in this deck, and it's not just because of the shiny bling, is the fact that it actually runs 4 catcher as well.
Yeah. Without Junkar, I think that's probably going to be...
It's going to be pretty strong, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, even with the fact that you've got Sableye, which is double Junkar, but the fact that you could, Catcher in this deck is just so strong. I mean, Darkrai is spread, it's 1 attack, spreads 120 on the board. It's like 90 active, 30 to the bench. And, you can choose what you're putting that 90 on. You can choose what goes onto the... What takes 30 on the bench?
Whoa, you choose what to put 90? Well, the catcher.
With 4 catcher, yes, you do. You pretty much choose it. And it is a case of, really, you are just applying the pressure where you want it to go. You could use your very first Darkrai to not take any prizes and to just soften up their field, to just go for a sweep. Like, oh, you got a big, you got a big active. I'll just smack it for 90, 30 on something that's going to get bigger. I'll then catch your active away, 90 on something else, 30 on that thing that's going to get bigger again.
What I think is kind of funny about this deck is you can actually set up multiple Hydreigon and not actually be worried about one of them being knocked out, because if either one of them is dragged out, it's not retreating them, it's like it's nothing.
Well, yeah, it's like you can retreat it for, for 0 cost. You attach
Yeah, and then
energy,
move the
you
energy,
retreat, and then
yeah.
move the energy. It's free retreat with no cost in this deck. And as you said though, you don't have to worry about it. Set up 2, you don't have to worry about losing it. With 150 hit points, it's very unlikely that something's going to turn around and one-shot it. So even if you don't have the second one set up, they either take away one of your dinos or Zylios just to actually stop you getting the second one. Well, you've still got your first one. And if they've taken out a dino, it's easily replaced by another dino.
Yeah.
If they, put a load of damage on you, you set up the second. Well, in total, they've got 300 hit points to get rid of to take away your engine. And you still have a third one in deck. They really, and I mean really, need to put the pressure on you and just hammer you as hard as they can just to get rid of that, that advantage. And if they're going to focus that hard on getting rid of Hydreigon, you're most likely going to have manually set up a Darkrai or 2 by this point.
I think the biggest strength of this deck is probably the fact that it's not really weak to much that's common in format. I mean, the only big dragons are Garchomp and Rayquaza. And the big fighting guys, there's heavy hitting fighting guys is Terrakine's probably the only real big hitter.
Terrakion and Groudon X if people are running it, but I don't think it's actually a big force in the Japanese meta at the moment.
Not a big force anywhere, really.
Well, I don't know. It's got potential. It's just one of those cards that hasn't happened at all.
But I think not having a major weakness to a lot of things really helps the deck.
The fact that you've got these 2 guys, they've got huge hit points, so not weak to anything common in format. It is a case of we can tank, we have max potion, and we can, negate the cost of max potion by moving energy first.
The other thing is with no junk arm in the Japanese format, because it's black and white onwards, the catches become a lot more valuable and not easily as droppable. Because you have to think about dropping them, and probably when you're going to have to actually disrupt your opponent to such a degree they're going to have to wait on the 2 turns to do anything, or you're going to take a prize that turn.
I mean, that is the thing. I mean, really, with the fact that you have so many hit points, your opponent really won't want to play capture, except for just the whole fact that he'll try and disrupt you. But seeing as in this deck, everything essentially has free retreat. It's not really worth playing against this, unless you're going to take the KO straight away. And what can you really KO straight away? Wow, Sableye. You're on 3, and it's there for basically, if you've got a turn spare on field, get back a catcher and an Eviolite or a max potion or so. Or maybe, a Dark Patch if you really need to.
I suppose it would have to depend on the deck, because it's as again with Ray Rails or something like that, Rayquaza would, if the Darkrai had 4 Eviolite on it, the Rayquaza would have to discard about 4 energy just to one-shot it.
So that's basically 2 turns of charging up. I mean, I don't think anyone is ever going to run a 4/4 electric line, and if they are, they're not going to put 4 electric on the bench. That's going to be
Darkrai.
Yeah, it's mostly a case of at most they'll might have 3. But it's still 2 turns to charge up to get rid of 1 guy. That 1 guy could just go, capture one of your eels. 90 and 30 on another.
It's kind of interesting how a lot of decks recently, how the evolution line seem to be more focused around energy manipulation.
True, as Klingflang's been getting it, Hydreigon's getting it. If Water gets it, Kyogre's going to be huge, because it's 250s on the bench.
Yeah, I mean, with Eel, that gets energy out of discard, and Emboar is attaching from the hand.
True. It is really a case of I think that's what this format's gimmick is meant to be. Every format seems to have its own gimmick. With SPs, it was basically the SP thing going on, and they were trying to make it so that stage 2s were as powerful as SPs. Good luck. But then they turn around and this format seems to be mostly about the black-white format seems to be more about. You can't recruit your basics as easily, but energy is going to be a lot more easy to manipulate. It's going to be easier to get out. Depending on your deck, you're going to be able to do something with energy. I mean, I think the only deck that really loses it is actually, when we go into black and white, it's going to be water, oddly enough. Well, because we lose for Relegator.
Yeah, but with Empoleon doesn't really need it.
True. It's just the fact that, bigger water guys just really are going to get take a hit. Empoleon, don't get me wrong, it's a good card. He's nice people. But it's the fact that he just requires 1. But anything bigger, as I mentioned, Kyogre X, that guy, he has, a lot of potential. He basically does what Darkrai does, but more bench damage. It's 250s instead of 90 and 30.
So it's less damage.
by 20, but it's the fact that, you know, you can put those 250s anywhere. So you can like take out a basic and damage something, or you can take out 2 basics.
That's true, but it's like it doesn't have, like with Darkrai, it's not just because he has this really strong attack, it's his ability as well that makes him really versatile.
True, he does amazingly wreck the format. It's like, well, here's Capture, it like most broken card ever. Here's Darkrai, it just makes that broken card nothing. Well, I do love how, though, that, you know, people, when Capture was coming back, people raged against it. It's like, oh, this is pointless, this is awful, we like Reversal because of a coin toss. It's like, but people were moaning about losing to coin tosses because of Reversal. So Capture comes out, it's guaranteed. People rage because it's a guaranteed drag. Now we've got a card that turns around and says guaranteed drag means nothing to me.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's kind of true. I mean, I suppose people will always complain about something or other, but it's like... Well,
yeah, these Nancy's need to shut up. I mean, look at the whole Mewtwo argument. Yeah. When Mewtwo X first came out, it's like, oh, it's going to rule the format, it's going to do everything. Whoever gets their Mewtwo first wins. The way to play Mewtwo has actually panned out to be the exact opposite of that. It's not who gets their Mewtwo first, it's who plays their Mewtwo second wins. The Mewtwo War is all about holding on to Mewtwo until the very last moment, dropping, then killing. You just slap down Mewtwo, you lose the exchange.
I apologise, we seem to have arrived at the wrong train station. Please wait until we manage to get you on the right track.
Okay, yeah, I did go off that. I was wondering why he was like gasping then. I was like, whoa, is Max having some kind of attack here?
No, just like, this is going in the complete wrong direction now.
Oh, no, we've just been rambling about this deck list for the last 25 minutes.
Well, yeah.
Not that I'm complaining, it's a good deck list. Oddly enough though, there's one thing that's just caught my eye on me. I mean, just caught my eye. There's only 3 candy in here.
But there's only 3 stage 2s.
They're true, but like most people do tend to run the 4 candy just for, you know, get it as quickly as possible. You know, that consistency number.
Decks that run 4 candy usually run a 4-2-4. This is only running a 3-1-3.
I've known a lot of, like, you know, in the last format, I've known a lot of like 3-2s run 3.
To be honest, with the amount of droppable cards in this deck and the supporter line, it's probably more likely you're going to be able to draw into the candy and whatever.
True. But it's like, I do see the fact that, you know, even if you did add the 4th candy, even if it did become dead draw, it's not completely dead. You can still drop it for Ultra Ball if you have to.
I guess, but it's like, it's a good argument, but as a card it is pretty dead. It's just like a cost for something else, isn't the greatest counterpart. Come back.
Well, yeah, but it's better than turning around and saying, well, I draw this card, I can do nothing with it.
Well, that's probably what's going to be half the time. I mean, there's 3 Ultra Balls, and those are probably going to be looking for Darkrai, Hydreigon, and...
I'm thinking Ultra Balls are going to be mostly Hydreigon. I don't think its retreat is big enough for Heavy Ball. No, it's big enough for Heavy Ball, never mind.
I meant, because it's going to be searching Darkrai as well. And
actually, it might be the Siglith and the Shaman it searches for, as well.
Well, it's basically everything that isn't level ball compatible. No, level balls is 70 under or 90 under?
90 under, so you get Sableye, you get
Siglith.
Siglith's 90?
Yes.
That was 100. Oh well, you learn something new. But you still get Zavalius, still get Dino, you still get Sableye with level ball. It's, you know, it's pretty much, it's over half your monster line's grabbable.
I'm guessing it's so that early game you can search a Sableye and just keep getting level balls or ultra balls back to your hand.
Hopefully not getting ultra ball constantly back to your hand. That's just asking to deck out. Unless you're relying on Juniper early game.
Yeah, that's true.
Also, why do we not have this artwork for Bianca?
It's the Emerging Powers promo or something. I looked it up a while ago.
Alright. Oh no, sorry, not Bianca. Belle.
Belle.
That's actually her name. Over there, it's like, how do we get Bianca from Belle?
Oh, you can't if you want to call
people, avoid a lawsuit from Disney or something?
If you want to call people proper names, you're going to have to call Ennis proper name now.
Natural. Actually, that would help for searching on Baby Search. So I have to type 101, because I don't know the other version's number.
So what's his full name then?
Don't know, Natural.
There you go.
I don't know his second name.
And it's on the postcard, people.
To P.O. Box. Anyway, I think we've rambled on long enough. We'll call it a day for now on this episode. Until next time, I've been Ratata Joey.
I'm still Maxim.
If you like what you've seen, don't forget to rate, comment and subscribe. Until next time, stay in the top %.